So we're going to talk a bit about sourdough and how it works. Sourdough is basically a culture of wild yeast cells and lactic acid bacteria. It is my sourdough culture reservoir. I always keep about 300 grams of it, which is enough to keep it going, but also to reproduce it for baking with as well. So you can see that there's lots of bubbles in this. It was refreshed a few days ago, and it's nice and bubbly. Because it's a living culture, you have to feed it and you have to look after it. Today we're going to make some more sourdough by putting some in this pot and then refreshing my reservoir, so I've still got plenty to use in the future. So literally all that's in here is water and flour, and that's how it started. It produces itself because there's wild yeast in the flour and also wild yeast in the air, so you can literally make your own by doing nothing more than adding flour and water and letting it ferment. It's quicker and easier if, like today, you get some off a friend who's already got a lively starter going. So what we're going to do is take 75 grams of this, put it in this Aldi pot. Right, that's 45. No, we're going to take 150, aren't we? No, we're not going to take 75. We're going to end up with 150. Well, 80, that'll do. And in order to bulk that up to, it'll be 160, but enough, we're going to add flour and water and let it ferment somewhere warm. So let's get another clean spoon. This is organic wholemeal flour. You can use other flour as well. I always use wholemeal and I always use organic simply because there's less pesticides and less nasty stuff in it, which helps keep the culture going. Just zero those scales. There we go. So 36, 57, 69. I'll tell you what, make it 80. Doesn't really matter how much, as long as you put the same amount of water in this flour. There we go. So we're going to get 80 grams of warm water in this Peppa Pig cup. And in that goes to make it up to about 160. There we go. Right, we'll stir that in a minute because I've only got one hand spare. And like I said, in order to keep my supply going, my reservoir, I'm going to do exactly the same with that and replace exactly what we took out, which was 80 grams of flour. There we are. And then the same with water. Make that up to 160-ish. And there we go. So, I'm going to stir that up. This is where it's going to get tricky, isn't it? Because I've only got one hand. Stick it under my arm. And stir it. Try not to get it on my jumper. Once you've got your own sourdough starter going, if you're not going to bake with it like twice a week, you need to refresh it and feed it. Like I said, because it's a living thing. So what I'd do is repeat that process twice a week, unless you're baking. If you're baking, you're going to refresh it anyway. If all you're doing is refreshing it and you're not baking, take half of it out and get rid of it. Put it in the compost heap if you've got one, because it's really good. It's really good for compost. And then just literally replace half flour, half water with what you've taken out. Put it somewhere warm, which we're going to do in a minute. On top of my boiler, it's about 30 degrees centigrade, which is absolutely perfect for the yeast to reproduce. So somewhere like that, or an airing cupboard, around about 30 degrees, and the yeast will reproduce. It takes about 5 to 6 hours to refresh, and you'll know when it's refreshed because it'll be nice and bubbly. So let's put that on top of the boiler for a good few hours. If I can do it without... There we are. I can stay there. I'm going to repeat the process with my own reservoir, and that's it. Happy baking.